thought yes. Then they had a couple of bad results, but today was really good team performance in that second half.
Feels like there was a togetherness right from the start here today. Is he from the stands, from the manager and the players? A real connection.
Yeah, it felt that way. It felt like there was a good feeling in the air for Manchester City this afternoon. I think that the way they addressed the game collectively, I thought they were sharp, aggressive. You could, when we were watching the players warming up, you can always get a little bit of a scent around, they look up for it. I know you've got to be up for a derby, but the way they just stamped authority all over Manchester United this afternoon, it was a fully deserved win, and that man there, he was absolutely exemplary in and out of possession. He looked like the Phil Foden that everybody's been sort of questioning over recent.
The past seasons, winning 4 in a row, everyone was expecting them to hit that level. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that, and they have got new players, and they need to bed in, and it looks like they've got the energy back. I think with Man City, watching in previous seasons, the way they press, I still don't think that the press is exactly the way they want it, but it's improving.
Well, just on that, Micah, do you think, Roy, that the manager's got his energy back as well?
It looked like it, yeah. A few weeks ago you look at and I'd never questioned Pep. You were thinking, has he still got the hunger? And I think the break, I know we've seen him at the golf, we've seen him at the tennis, and honestly, maybe he's just needed that change of scenery. I know they're only back into the season, but he's got new players, he's trying to bed them in. Sometimes you just need to step back for a week, just to regroup and he looks refocused.
And the word is that they trained here at the Etihad yesterday, which they never do. They changed things around there. They got to the ground 45 minutes earlier than they normally do today, and that's more evidence, isn't it, that they're just trying to refresh something, just to find that formula again.
I think when it's better than me, Roy, but you kind of smell within a team, if something needs to be tweaked or changed, and maybe that's how he felt, and he's taken that, new perspective, taken the international break, probably taken days off, come back, changed the way that the players prepared for this game, actually -2, -1, adding a different stimulus, but it felt from the very start that the connection with the fans was massive, and I think, said it, Haaland had a chance that he sliced across the face of goal, almost went in after 18 seconds, and that immediately just gathers momentum in the stadium, atmosphere, feeling, and they just took that for the rest of the game, and it doesn't look like they're back. I think Mike has just alluded to it there. There was a few gaps in the way they play, but I think that performance was physically dominant, and it's a really good building block for them.
Yeah, and it's another game for Rodri. Rodri still is trying to get minutes under his belt. I know he was sloppy in the first half, gave a few balls away, so it's another game for him, and he'll just get better and better as the games come thick and fast. And obviously they've got some big games coming up.
You're right, Mike. Mike has doubled over in pain. I think he's got cramp from all the celebrating.
Cramp in his jaw.
Cramp in his jaw. He's got a little bit more talking to do, because it's one of those nights where you get to have your moment, Micah. Bigging up Manchester City because they've been really impressive in the derby here this afternoon. You're out of vision again, so you carry on. Right, this is the weekend done then. Week 4, Arsenal. Impressive against Ange Postecoglou's Nottingham Forest, winning by 3-0. Zubimendi at the double in that game. Bournemouth, what a start they've had, despite all that change for Andoni Iraola to manage. And they've won again, third time in 4 matches, 2-1 against Brighton. Brentford 2-2 with Chelsea last night. Goalless between Palace and Sunderland, and Everton and Villa. Fulham winning very late against Leeds United. Burnley in the 95th minute, which saw them go back to the top. Maximum points for the champions. They're on 12. Arsenal, Spurs, Bournemouth on 9. Then come Chelsea, Everton and Sunderland on 7 points. Above Manchester City right now, who are back into the top half with their second win of the season. Then it's Palace and Newcastle, who got their first win. Fulham, Brentford, Brighton and Manchester United dropping to 14th. 4 points on the board from the first 4 games of a much anticipated season. And the bottom 3 right now, West Ham, Aston Villa, who are yet to score, and Wolves, who are yet to get a point. More.
18, you can be the greatest of all time.
Doku, oh, it's lovely from Jeremy Doku. And Foden! That'll stick a smile on his face. Phil Foden was born for Derby Day. Doku shifting it through here for Erling Haaland! there ahead of Haaland, who starts to run from inside his own half and has miles and miles all to himself. Erling Haaland, the master of all he surveys.
Well, City needed to find something today, and they certainly found inspiration from two of their big performers. Erling Haaland, 2 goals. Phil Foden starting for the first time this season. And what a start he was. Let's hear from both with Patrick Davison.
Guys, very well played. Phil, you paid tribute to Ricky Hatton before kick-off. Was that for Ricky?
100%. I had extra motivation going into the game. And yeah, it was for him and his family and the people suffering right now. But yeah, the lads made sure today that we gave everything. As you could see, it weren't a pretty match at the end, but the way we run, yeah, it was all for him, and we're delighted with the result.
Erling, there was just a sense of something before kick-off today. Was that a hugely motivated Man City performance?
Yeah, definitely, and you could feel it as well, you know, from the fans and everything. We kind of needed this, or say whatever you want. You always want to win the derby, but you could feel it a bit extra today, and I'm so relieved. I'm so happy that we managed to do this all together. It's not nice to win games, as I said to you a couple of days ago, but we have to keep going, and we have to keep this guy going, because we need him so much, and yeah, today we're super happy.
I mean, that was something like his best, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and this is the Phil we need. All Man City are waiting for this, and we're going to help him as much as we can to make him as good as he was the season before last season, I think.
No, that makes sense. You've done well.
Exactly.
You've done better than you think.
Yeah.
Phil, there was, I don't know, it's easy with hindsight, but I almost from your pre-match interview, I had the feeling that you came with a sense today that, right, time to remind people, time to re-announce myself.
Definitely, there's been a lot of talk I've seen.
Is it impossible not to hear that?
Yeah, it is impossible a bit. Everything I see at the moment is quite negative, but you know, that's the world we're living when you're playing at the highest level, and
Won't be tomorrow morning.
you never know. But when you obviously come off winning the Player of the Season as well, the standards are higher, and I understand that. So it's about reading them comments and just trying to react the best I can and come back to my level.
And Erling, he's not the only player who played well today. I mean, we haven't got time to ask about everything, but just as you went through on goal for the second one, having had somehow the one before that doesn't go in, hits the post, but still, there's just no sense that anyone's going to catch you, and no sense there's any doubt in your mind. Was again that interview a few days ago, you talked about the importance of a free mind. Did we see it?
Yeah, we saw it, and I wasn't a lot. I had the big chance a bit before, but then it was a bit of a not stopping the game, but I wasn't a lot involved. And as I said, that's exactly why I celebrated as I did, because I was free in my mind.
He's talked about you, Phil. Finish on Erling, because it wasn't just the goals today. Heading things away, volleying things away, a complete performance, quite a leader's performance, should we say?
Yeah, you got it right there. Complete performance. The way he holded the ball at the end when we were struggling. Yeah, he did everything today. Defending, attacking, running in behind, also doing the dirty work, pressing for the team. Yeah, it was a full shift from him today, and yeah, we need that more.
Thank you, mate.
This is lovely. Right, there's a Player of the Match award to give out. Could have been Jeremy, could have been Phil.
Anyone there?
It's Erling. Would you mind, Phil?
Well deserved, my
Thank you, mate. I might give it
There you go,
to
brother.
Gigi, to Donnarumma, actually.
Yeah.
Some save, wasn't it?
He was unbelievable.
Oh, he was.
Don't forget him.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Well done, sorry.
I think even Roy enjoyed that.
Well, obviously not pleased with the win.
They've got the joy back, haven't they? Is he watching that?
Yeah, it's good to see 2 top players, and especially Phil Foden there alluding, of course they read and see the criticism, people are going to question him, but he's built that up for himself because of how good he's been.
So it's the standards that he has set himself that
and
he has
he'll know
fallen
that.
below.
And he'll know that, and he's carried a lot of weight, from a young teenager moving through, the ranks at Manchester City. He's carried a lot of weight with how talented he is. And for him to just slot back into the midfield and perform the way he did today, I think everything he did today was of the highest quality. The way he was zipping the ball in and around the midfield, his first sort of touch was always excellent, his passing, the weight of pass was clean. Everything about his performance just oozed class, and there's no pressure on him to go and do the same again next week. There's pressure on him just to be himself and just be Phil Foden, and I thought we saw the best of him today.
I want to give him a little bit of an excuse, though, because when his standards dropped a little bit, he was out the team. So if you look at someone like Cole Palmer, even if his standards drop, his first name on the team sheet, so he can play his way back into form. Whereas last season, Kevin De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva or whoever it may be. So that's the excuse I will give him. But the reason why we talk about him so much because he's got so much talent. And last season, even in the games where he did get a little bit of run, he wasn't at the level he knows he should be. So this season, no Kevin De Bruyne talk. It's all about him. He played in the centre today, where we know that's at his best. You know, that's where he can cause all sorts.
That's part of his journey. Since he's got in the team, he's been amazing. So he's not going to go through his whole career without having disappointing spells. He's talking about reading negativity, but that's part of his journey. But you do the business today like you did, and you get back up, get back in the swing of things. He's got the quality, he's shown that before, and just regroup now and go again, new team, and again he's one of the kind of senior players now with the new lads coming in. So as much as you look at yourself, he's there now to help the other players as well. So that's another important lesson for him. It's not just about him all the time; it's about helping the other players, just like Haaland did today.
How much do you think the goal helped him?
Massively. I just think he needed that moment, and Izzy talked about it before when the goal went in. It's just what makes him so good, Foden. He can always get into positions. He's always scanning. You see, Doku gets on the ball here in the half spaces, but he wants to get on the end of it, and it's the timing of his run being in there. How many times do you see midfielders not making the right run? The timing's a little bit off. But Foden, when he's ghosted in there...
But the key is, Mike, as well, don't be too early, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
he's all about the timing.
It's brilliant skill, obviously, but he makes the header look easy.
Yeah, he did. That's what good players did, and certainly wasn't an easy header. But because of his time, and at least he's coming onto it, and he's thinking, listen, there's a big area there, if I can just hit it. And again, the United keeper, we always look at, I'm not blaming him for the goal, but it doesn't look that big, does it, when the ball goes into the back of the net? But an excellent finish, and the key was not getting in there too early.
There's a comparison season on season. This is what Erling Haaland was actually referencing there. Go back 2 seasons when they last won the title. 19 goals and 8 assists. That's the player that City desperately need again, especially as De Bruyne's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, Foden, Doku as well, who contributed in the game today. We looked at his numbers pre-match, and we know that, well, he'll know that he needs to apply more sort of output in terms of goals and assists, and he created a lot today. Foden hitting those numbers, 19 goals the season before last, that's a lot from a midfielder who gets played wide and rotated their position. If he hits anywhere between 7 and 19 for the last 2 seasons this season, I think it's success for him on a personal level. But it's the way they work. City's system, like Doku could have easily been playing a match today.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get it, but he contributes, and that's exactly, you think back to all the successful Pep Guardiola teams winning Premier League titles, there's contributions from all over the pitch, and I'm sure that they'll be delighted with that, but they have to do more. It's
a sign of a good team, isn't it? Or a good performance when there are so many contenders for player of the match. What was different about Doku, do you think, today? We saw it with the first goal and with the second.
I think his strengths as an individual player are his speed, he's dynamic, he's good 1v1 with his back to goal and facing up the defender. He used the space well, and I think that there's always been that question mark over Doku around his end product, and this is here now, the strength just to hold off Euro here and just feed that little pass. And that little pass, I wouldn't imagine last season he would have played this cleanly, but the timing of Haaland's run, just the connection between the two of them makes it happen. But the strength in this moment here, low centre of gravity, and then what's so important on the move is the weight of pass. It lands into an area where Haaland doesn't even need to take a touch, just a one-touch finish, lift it over the keeper.
Sorry, again, obviously we talk about City's strength and power and decision-making, particularly in them tight areas. The opposite to United. United look weak.
We can have another look at it, Roy.
Yeah, we can look at the defensive side of it. Yeah, give all credit to Man City, very good player. But you look at United here, players just not getting tight enough, all too easy. Decision making here. Why are you getting too tight to a player where you know he's going to be stronger than you? Shaw all over the place. Haaland, we know he's brilliant at it, but just far too easy. United just look like an average team, a really average team, and take nothing away from City today. But I bet you City's attacking play today, but I couldn't believe how easy it was. I know United had a go at the end, but the game was over by then. And we give credit to Haaland again, that way the pass lovely. Their timing wasn't quite right in the first half. And when the second goal goes in, the game's over. United fans were leaving, you just felt it in the air that there's no coming back. They got out of jail last year, but not today.
I know we'll talk about United a little bit later on, but you just see that the system, it's not helping the players at all. At all. You see on that goal there, I don't know if we can play it one more time. All the defenders are going for the same ball. It's like, when do we push up? When do we drop?
And the first goal, Michael.
But just look at, you got Euro there, you got De Ligt, and you've got Shaw. It's 3 versus 2, and Haaland still ends up winning the ball and scoring the goal. It's because of the system. They don't know they should drop. Look at De Ligt there. He doesn't know. Shall I go with Haaland? Is anyone speaking? And there's lack of communication. If you're going to play in that system, you should at least be talking in the free, and it's a hard system to play because when do you push up and when do you drop off? But it's just too easy. Fantastic finish from Haaland, but United made.
Well, we'll reflect on United even at the start of the season so far. 4 games, there's 4 points and 4 goals, conceded 7. Obviously got beaten by Grimsby as well. For all the money they've spent, and obviously a new manager coming in needs time to settle in, needs a pre-season, needs his own players. They're just very average team in this Premier League. There's no signs things are getting better for this United.
Well, talk about too easy. What about the third goal?
Well, obviously it's Haaland. We know his strengths, and United again all over the place. They're trying to get back into the game, sloppy play. Again, if you stop it there, look at United defenders. My goodness, you've got one of the best strikers in the world running from the halfway line. Maguire's never catching him, and there was never any doubt he was going to finish it. Again, look at United here. The players' body language showed. These players, he's obviously onside. Of course, he's run from his own half, and then you never doubt him. And it's just this little touch here, just that one there, just gives him a chance to open it out. And these players, Haaland, it's that little one there, just the keeper. All the great strikers, listen, brilliant finishing, again, never in doubt. And he probably could have scored a few more.
You had a fancy for Haaland today, and Roy's right, he could well have had a hat-trick.
Yeah, I mean, I said before the game, I don't know, it's just his energy, the way he is in the national break, he just seems, Haaland, he seems happy, he seems energised, and yeah, I had him in my fantasy as well, so I wanted I expect him to score that. I don't know what he's doing.
I think everybody in the world expected him to score that.
But in terms of putting himself out, another Doku pass there, over there, lovely touch, round the goalkeeper, he just put it in.
Is he trying to knock it back post because the defender's coming across?
Yes, I think that's exactly what he's trying to do. But if you look at his touch here there, he can just side foot it now. He dives into it where he didn't need to dive into it there.
But you know, when the City players were going down the side of United, or they were running away from, as if United players were caught out, as if they didn't realise how quick City were or sharp they were. United looked like, oh, I didn't know he'd be coming down the side. And you're going, well, you must have done your preparation. You must watch these players week in, week out. They seem caught out all the time, as if, well, I didn't expect Haaland to be on my shoulder. Where else is he going to be? And again, we'll give credit for Haaland for obviously attacking play. But again, you're on about being a team player. And we will praise him as well for coming back and doing a good job defensively. You have to give him a thumbs up for that.
We've got some evidence of that as well. It was the all-round performance. I think someone used the word leadership. Was that you, Mike, that we're talking about? We're seeing a different Haaland this season. Is this further evidence of that?
Well, so go on, Izzy.
These are clips. I mean, Gary spoke about it on commentary, and rightly so, because in these defensive moments you need him. You know, you look at his stature, and it'd be foolish not to use him on set pieces defensively. And I think that he just kind of epitomised this performance. He looked like a man possessed today, and I think we're looking at clips here of him defending set pieces, balls in the air, clearances, but then we looked at clips of him throughout the game of the pressing and the energy. Like, his high speed running today must have been through the roof, because even when he didn't need to jump up and press by and there, he was doing it, and I think that sends a message to the team.
We do speak about his head, and he is 6'4". You know what I mean? There's a good chance the ball's going to hit his head as well, to be fair.
Yeah, but not everyone who's 6'4" is good in the air.
Yeah,
or want to head it.
Right. But, you know, there's a good chance you're going to head the opposite.
How would you grade his all-round play today?
Excellent.
Is he going up in your estimation now?
He's championship now. General players.
Come on! He's a world-class striker. What's that, 90
Absolutely.
goals?
There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. I've never said that.
World-class striker.
General player, and it is improving, of course. He's 25 now. Yeah, the penny's dropped with him. He's got to be more of a team player as well.
Seems to be this debate: who's the best in the world or the best in the league right now? Isak or Haaland? Neither had swapped one for the other.
No, I mean, Haaland, what he's done, not just at Man City, before Dortmund as well. Isak's probably more complete in terms of coming to the ball and all that sort of stuff. But out and out goal scorer, I'm choosing Haaland.
When he went through for that second chance,
every day of the week,
that's the player you'd want.
Every day of the week, pick Haaland. He's so consistent, and he's still got so long to go.
90 Premier League goals, 50 in 50 home appearances. Special player Erling Haaland. Let's get some Manchester United reaction. Bruno Fernandes now with Patrick.
Well, Bruno, hard to find positives when you lose a derby by that scoreline?
No, it's not hard. You have to look at what you did well, and obviously it's not enough because you want to win football games and not seeing positives from the game. What we did today here was not enough to get the result, and that's all we have to take from this game. Obviously, look at what you have to do better and go forward to the next game.
Okay, what's the answer to that? What do you need to do better?
Well, we need to score goals and not concede. That's the main thing of football, and I think we keep creating chances to score. We're not able to score as many or as much as we wanted, and I think we have to be more in control in certain situations. Obviously, I think we concede 3 goals where we could have avoided. I think the first one, when we need to be more brave when we go on a full pressure on a 1v1. As City takes that risk today against us, we need to do the same. And then the second goal from a throw-in, I think we need to be much more aware in that moment. And the third goal is things like that can happen, and then you need to be better positional to not get a counter like that.
So just give us your perspective on the first goal, because you mentioned it there. It looked at one point like you had Foden, and then obviously Doku beats his man. You look like you go out, and obviously at this level it only takes a second. He's in behind you and he scores.
If I was trying to press Rodri because the aim for the game was for one of the midfielders to jump on Rodri, one of defenders jumping on Foden. In the first moment where I can cover both, and then Lenny decides to come up. When I look at him, I see that he comes up, so I try to go a little bit more towards Rodri. Guardiola does a good pass to Foden, and Lenny was going backwards, and because of a miscommunication, we end up giving too much space for them to go up the pitch, and that's what I mean. I think when we go, we need to take more risk, and we have to be more brave with the last line to be a little bit more high. Because if you see City, when every time we pass the ball backwards to our centre backs, they go on 3 against 3, and their line squeezes so much, and it's very difficult to play through the lines because the spaces between them are very, very narrow.
How challenging as well is it sometimes as a midfield too? It looked from where I was sat like they're trying to overwhelm you in that area, outnumber you in that area. Do you sense that? Do you feel that?
No, because we play with the back 5, or sometimes with the back 4, or the back 3, or whatever you want to call it, and we need obviously people to be very, very aggressive in the moment of pressure. We need to get the moments of jumping, because if not, the midfielders get every time under load. Because if you look at City, they had Rodri, TG, Bernardo coming in, then they had Foden. They make basically a midfield 4 against the 2. So you need the ones in behind you to jump, like Luke was doing very well on DG, like we did it in the first game against Arsenal. That's why they didn't play. They couldn't find the spaces to play, and that's what makes the spaces very narrow for the teams to play against a team that is very aggressive when you go on the front foot. If you're not brave enough to do that, it's very difficult, and then they will find the spaces and the gaps to play, because we're playing against a top team. We're not playing against a bad opponent, and obviously when you play against teams with this quality, they will find the small gaps and they will play the balls.
Yeah, I know it's difficult in this moment, but does it still feel like you're kind of heading in the right direction? Because at times this season it has felt like that, but then you have obviously nights like Grimsby, and then you have a day like today, which, like you say, maybe there's positives in the performance, but it's a pretty heavy defeat against your City rivals.
Of course, I think the result is very bad, and it's very bad on us. But I think it's 2 ways of looking at this game, because I think the goals could have been avoided from our side. I think on the ball we were very, very positive. We were very brave. We were playing the ball forward. When we created our chances, we could have been a little bit more clean with our chances, but we not get anything from that. So we wanted what City got, was the 3 points, and it doesn't matter how you get it. City was smart to get the goals in the way they did. They have a very good team, very good players, and obviously compliment to them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for explaining that. Brilliant.
Well, a lot of tactical chat from Bruno Fernandes. When you think about what he said there, Roy, is that suggestion that the system is at fault there, or the way they've actually tried to deploy the system against such a good side?
I don't think he was saying that. He's not going to come out after a game. Is that criticising the system? I don't think so. And we also know every team that Pep's manager, he tries to overload the midfield. He tries outnumbers or whatever the system might be. But he's made the point there. I think it's a pretty honest interview that they should have done better for the goals. As simple as that. They should have been sharper in their own play going forward. But I said it earlier, this United team, they lack that real quality. They struggle defensively. the midfield, around about United breaking the press. But when teams get United look all over the place. I think they're just United are an average team, an average Premier League team. The stats will tell you that. And I'm going back to last season as well. So again, we're sitting here. United's record as well against any of the top 6 teams or whatever is really, really poor. They can't seem to compete. They'll have maybe a good 45 minutes or a good hour. Bruno makes the point here. They kind of done it quite well against Arsenal, but they lost the game at home to Arsenal. Ultimately, you are playing for Man United to win football matches. And when you say we're coming up against quality teams, yeah, but that's part of the challenge. When you sign that contract, you're going, yeah, it's no good just beating the teams, the lesser teams. You're playing for Man United to compete against other good teams, and United can't do that. Whether they're not good enough, there's obviously issues. Talk about the system, but the manager's come in. He's sticking to his guns. He's not budging. But the results, and we look at the points per game and the goals for, goals against.
So that's a concern.
It does concern me. It's not good reading. I came here today, and sometimes at United with a bit of history, they've done it last year. But as soon as the game starts, you're looking, going, oh, you're worried. But you get that feeling against when they're playing any decent team. But even when you think, we said they've scored 4 goals, and we think United are a bit better going forward now. 2 of them were penalties. So they're not exactly a free-scoring team and going, listen, we might score 2 or 3 and we might give up a few. It's like almost the same problems as last year. And what we were told, the new manager needs a pre-season. He needs his own players. I don't know how much they've spent. Another good few hundred million.
200 million, yeah.
200 million.
Over 200 million.
Over 200 million. So we keep making excuses, but at some stage you go, well, when are we going to see the signs? Now, people say give manager time, and of course. But we saw Slot going into Liverpool last year. Liverpool might have been a kind of a better team at United at that stage, but he ends up winning the league. You look at other managers, you see Frank going into Spurs, you go, am I going to see signs of Spurs improving? And yeah. So how long do you keep waiting when this team are probably getting a point a game? That's what you'd probably...
But those managers that you talked about, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this as well, guys. You talked about Thomas Frank, known for being an adaptable, flexible manager. Slot sort of didn't try and change too much when he went in and almost just tried to tweak Jurgen Klopp's system. So
yeah, my worry is...
I think the problem is with the manager and the tactics he's deployed.
But my worry is with the players now, and Bruno's talking there, and is that maybe the players haven't got that much faith in it. So as much as the manager's going, this is where we're going, lads, and at the start you're probably going, yeah, new manager, new ideas, something different. But as the results don't come and you keep getting beaten or you're struggling against the better teams, if the players start doubting this system, and we saw some of the goals they're giving up today where some are going, some aren't, some are pressing, he's making loads of changes, he's chopping the back with the Maguire at the back, he's bringing Casemiro, and it's like they're going on in circles, this United group. And if the players have lost faith in what the manager's saying, because usually what you want, you're sitting in the dressing room, when the manager says something, you're like, yeah, I'm all in. But if some of the players are now starting to doubt that, I'm not saying they are, but when you see some of the goals they're giving away, you're going, are you all fully on board with this manager going, listen, yeah, whatever you say, we'll do it. We'll run through brick walls for you. I don't quite see it yet. I hope it can change, but we've given the benefit of when he first came in. He didn't want to come in. He said he wanted to come into pre-season, but obviously United said, you've got to come in. So results weren't great. You go, okay, listen, first pre-season, give me a pre-season, give me my players. And United are throwing money. And if these are brilliant coaches, you go, well, when are you going to coach these players to make them better? Because some of the decision-making some of these players are making as well, which you've seen today, is like, it's just all wrong. And then not having the strength. But we see Shaw for the first goal. Now, Shaw's an international footballer. For him to get caught out like that, you're looking going, do you know, Shaw, I think Shaw's been getting away with murder for years at United. Always injured, never quite fit. We make excuses. Then he gets a few games under his belt. And he's making decisions like he doesn't even want to tackle people. Like, we looked at all the stats in the Derby match there. Not one yellow card. And we're having the big build-up. The Manchester Derby, the it's raining, it's like set up for a few tackles are flying in. You're getting beat. And Man United walk off the pitch. No, I'm sick of repeating myself. You walk up and you go, it's a derby game. How are you physically? You're shattered. You shouldn't be able to get out of bed for a week after a tough game. And they're all walking off, and it's not one yellow card.
First time ever in a
but you've got
Manchester
to be
derby.
set up right, though. In terms of Man City's strengths, their strengths in midfield will dominate the game.
But they're good attacking for the goals, Micah.
Yeah, of course. But what's happening is they've got 2 in midfield against Man City's 3 in midfield. How are you supposed to cope with that? And we're talking about Foden, Rodri and Reinders. We're the best midfielders in European football.
We've all played in games where your midfielder, the system you're up against, they do have an extra midfielder, but you try and compensate with someone. But doesn't mean say you don't.
You've got to
that's the problem.
You've got an extra centre back.
You've got to the centre back has to jump
No, but
if you're going to play.
Which is what Bruno was saying.
Exactly that. But what's happening is that they're not jumping at the correct times.
Right, well, you get that. You sort that out with your team. That's another new buzzword. We jump. Try tackling.
Yeah.
Try hitting somebody. Like that. The football's a physical game.
But
we love it.
You have to. I agree with you what you're saying, to be a bit more physical, but you have to be in the right positions. Going out there against these players who can keep the ball for fun, you can't get anywhere near it. And if you've got 5 at the back just holding it, and you've got 2 in midfield running around like headless
But the reason they can't get near...
It's impossible to get near.
But the reason they can't get near me is because they're not mobile enough, they're not fast enough, they're not aggressive enough. They're really good in the ball, but if you gave me time in the ball, I'd still be playing. But part of the game is people closing you down, or being aggressive, or hitting you late, make it physically demanding.
I agree, but we talk about systems all the time, but I genuinely believe Man United would be a better team if they played 4-3-3. I do. I think they've got the players for it now. I think this system is hindering them. They don't know what they're doing. When they're on the ball, they're trying to make something happen. The manager's trying to coach them, but it's not working. They're not.
That makes sense. Does that make sense?
The only validation they're getting in this system, in the 3-4-3, is when they switch the play, it looks good.
Correct.
But there's nothing else.
Or a counter attack.
Or a fast break. Fast break buzzword. It's how they are effective. It's how they're effective. They either attack really quickly or they switch the play with the 2. You spoke about the 2 midfielders, right, in front of the back 3. They're so stiff and rigid, and there's no kind of offset shape to them. So, like for the first goal, if Ugarte doesn't jump out level with Bruno Fernandes and he offsets, I don't think that goal happens, the opening goal.
Can we see that goal again? We've got that, because it's so important. I'm sick of having to repeat myself. The players are good enough to what they're showing.
We're scurrying.
They're a lot better than what they're showing.
I don't know, Mike. I'm not sure some of them are.
Okay, well, they're not.
I'm not sure some of them are.
But, okay, I don't know if we can play this slowly. Just run it slowly.
Pause it now.
So, pause it now. Pause it now. So, you've got 3 of your
around the circle,
around the edge of the.
Yeah, but it's still more danger there,
You want your centre half, De Ligt, to come across. That's the first point. Run it on.
Yeah, there's no danger there, Mike. It's backs to play.
But hold on. Stop, pause it there. If he's over there, he can deal with Doku. He can stop it at source. That is the problem. Roll it on slower. Now, Doku gets the ball. He's on the half turn.
But look at him.
Luke Shaw, pause it there. Now he's in between the lines. He's beat the midfield line there. Now Shaw can only drop off. Once the ball goes on, this is where I agree with you. Now, this is where Shaw has to be tough and tackle, take off out. That is too easy. So then you get into this position here. They've still got 3 defenders in the box. Okay, you talk about marking. Pause it there. Fernandes in the 2. He's been doing so much work running back and forward. He's thinking, where's the ball? He leaves Foden, run it on slowly there. No organisation. So you've got Euro, Shaw and Fernandes all late because they don't, which could have been sorted 5 seconds ago.
Michael, look, right, circled here now, but also Haaland. If we just pause it there, Haaland is occupying, 3 defenders are occupying Haaland. And everybody knows that maybe you need to have 2 around Haaland.
Correct.
But 3 is crazy. So De Ligt needs to just move across. And Ugarte, the fact that he's stepped out, Foden, Doku and Rodri have created a little triangle in there. And Fernandes doesn't know who to mark. And as this is the most basic pass Rodri will ever play. Because as he steps in, Ugarte turns in the pocket. And then Foden just recognises in that moment that that's when I can start to attack. Fernandes is ball watching. But
but they're all mistakes.
But he's ball watching.
I know, but these are all mistakes. But we're sitting here as if. But these are all mistakes. The midfielders one pass. Ugarte did. Ahmed, he's got to just tuck in there. Let the ball go wide. I know. Look at Shaw's body language.
Well, he's flat, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's flat.
He doesn't even get down low to say you're going to do well to beat me. He beats him in a yard. And then this last bit more going, well, if you're a midfielder, you can't let the other midfielder get that side of you. But in fairness to Bruno, that's not his strength. He's very good going forward.
Gary Neville's joined us. And Gary, just by way of introduction for you, we've just been discussing, this is our second look at the goals, actually, because we've been discussing what was at fault today. Was it the system or the way it was deployed? Are Manchester United good enough to play in this way, or should they be just throwing it out? Nice easy one for you to start with.
He's not going to. I mean, when Ruben Amorim first came, I was quite heartened by the fact that he was going to play 3 at the back, because I felt that they didn't have 2 centre backs that were good enough to play in a 4. But every single time I watch Manchester United, he changes the back three every single game, which tells you he's not sure about which back three he should play. And he doesn't just change the back three, he changes the back five. So you either have different wing backs or you have different centre backs. I mean, the amount of times you see Dillick go over to the right hand side, Maguire coming on, every single match. So look, system, no system, there are a lot of individual errors out there today as well. Luke Shaw had one of his worst games that I've seen him have. He's had a pretty decent start to the season, but all 3 goals he could have done better. You've just shown the one there where he was square. On the second goal, he was, he got obviously done by Haaland, and then on the third goal he leaves it short for Maguire, who then obviously doesn't help himself either by the pass. So yeah, they just had a really bad day at the back, but it was a bit of a nothing from United. I mean, they had little moments, 15 minutes in the first half at the start, and they had 5 minutes in the second half before City scored. But look, they're 14th in the league, it's only 4 games in, and we all said at the end of last season we can't be getting into October where Manchester United are 14th, 15th in the league, or else the manager will be in trouble. Now there's a few games to go before that, but they have to start winning quickly.
More on this in just a moment. We will get to a break. We've got to hear still from both the managers as well, so we'll do that in just a moment. We've got to hear from Ruben Amorim. We've been talking a lot about him, but what's his impression of what we've seen here at the Etihad this afternoon? Pep Guardiola to come as well, but Ruben Amorim comes next.